Well, one of my first considerations is, son of a beehive. So there's air breathers, vents, right? But there's 3 rows. So there's another vent hole down. I'm gonna have to cut these because if not, I'm gonna basically block off 1/3 of all these top vents, and I don't want to do that. So I think I'm gonna have to jigsaw those out. So before I screw this top ridge in, I'm gonna have to cut those, notch the plywood out around those vents. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, okie dokie. I'm back working on the storage container, shipping container. So I went on eBay. This RotoZip is no more, obsolete. So I can't find these depth gauges, you know, new. For some reason it was missing from my kit. Never had a depth gauge in there. And that's because I might have got this thing used somewhere. So the only way I could really see getting a depth gauge, because I wanted to use this, I have other ways to get this done, but once I get fixated on it, I'm going to get fixated on it, was to buy a whole unit off of eBay, which I did. And I just plugged it in. It works. It came with a depth gauge, but unfortunately what I didn't see is the depth gauge is missing parts, so it doesn't go as far. There's some cap or something from the depth gauge missing, right, piece there. So that part sticking out here is too long for me. I need it shorter. So what I did is I found this bolt. I found this nut, and it actually fits on that threaded part where the other component to this is supposed to go. So I threaded on there just a couple of threads. That might get me the distance that I need. So the short, because I don't want to, you know, I only need it so depth, the depth of the plywood. And I made myself just a quick and down and dirty cardboard template somewhere. I just had the damn thing. What did I do with my cardboard template? So now I have 2. This is how I wound up with so much crap. So I had to buy a whole nother RotoZip just to get the depth gauge, which is not complete anyway, but I have a whole nother unit now. And I had this thing. Alright, I have this thing. I don't know. That's how I wind up with so much shit. And then I have so much shit, then now I can't figure out what I did with my little template I just made. God dang it. What did I do with it? Oh, it's in my pocket. In here. This is where it is. Yeah, I'm telling you, that's where it is. If I can get it out of there, though, that's different there. Cheap little template, like I said, cardboard template. So I mark this up on the 2x4, and what this is for is to open up the air holes that the breather holes, vents that the container has. So that's what I'm going to go out to do. wish I had done this while these things were down on the ground. Marked out where these doodads are going to be. Guess that's a little wonky, isn't it? Okay, now let's try it. See what the hell it is I'm trying to do. Can't see anything. You can't see. I'm not so sure. Yeah, I'm not doing this. I can't see anything. You're looking here. I can't, you know, I'm not looking down. I can't see down. All right, that's not working. That's gonna wind up looking like shit. I have another option. Well, that was a complete waste of getting that whole other unit for a depth gauge because I can't see shit. All right, well, let me go back in and I'll show you what my next idea is. Because that ain't it. All right, here goes option 2. I don't think I've ever used this. I think I bought these. I bought these for this. Let me see here now. Let's go see how this doohickey works. This is the Rockwell Oscillating tool that I used in the container. I had this, using it on the container was the first time I'd use this thing. I think it's now obsolete, but you can, it's been a minute since I bought it from when I used it, but that's kind of how I do things sometimes. I may see a good deal on something, come across it, think I need it, set it aside, don't ever use it for one reason or another, and then anyway, so I think that thing's obsolete now, and it's corded, which of course everything nowadays is battery powered. Look at this, see all the ice that fell off the barn roof over there. That was a mess. There's the container. All its glory. This is like the third week. Today's like the first day above freezing, or yesterday was. So it's starting to melt, but I had to knock down some of the piles that were along the entrance coming to the back from the front of the property to the back here. Knock some of those piles down so at least melt, because when they're like this here, they'll be around for a while. Anyway, that's that. I'm still recovering from a bit of neck surgery and going back in. All right, I put some PPP on my eyeballs, and so let's see how this. See if this works. Looks better. Better than what was going on. It's the first time I used that. Probably have a better attachment than this, but it works. Doesn't look perfect, but it looks better than what was going on with that RotoZip. Man, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything. You can't see anything. Your cuts are, you know. It's like, basically, it's just like a router. Too bad outside, considering. Oops, I'm not aligned. Probably wasn't. It's just not straight here. Adjust it from the top, I guess. Sorry for my snoot, but that's the way it goes. That's cool. Working better, learning it. Second time used. Sophomore. That was my sophomoric attempt. Now, let's do this one. Where'd it go? Right here. Alright, that one right there. noticed that those blades I bought are shorter, which probably give you better control. So 3.4 degrees, 5 degrees, I bet that's probably the left to right action, tighter, a little bit wider, speed, Rockwell F80. See how the wider, if it set up just a little bit. Better yet. Cool. One more. Wasn't the best ever. Tried to avoid getting into the metal, but that one, I got into it a little bit. I mean, just the surface. I don't want it rusting. I need to touch it up with a little bit of paint. All right, those are done. Kaputski. So now, back to my quandary about the screws. And I'm thinking that I want to screw them from the outside in and use roofing screws. I thought this was double walled, but it's not. So these screws are going through to the outside. So I'm gonna have to seal them, which means I'd rather come from the outside in because they're roofing screws and they seal, and so then I'll still put silicone out there, but that is what I'd rather do.